Hey guys, welcome to Interesting Video in Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Caitlyn supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bloodthirster Rush Caitlyn. So if you guys remember back in the day, this used to be kind of Caitlyn's main build, going for Bloodthirster as the first item, and going for the rest of these items as shown. But nowadays, as you can see from the top builds, Stormrazor into the Blaster is going to be your ideal build into normally your IE as well as your Molar Binder, and with a lot of the top players going for Bloodthirster later on as well. Now, I do agree that Stormrazor is probably the better item for Caitlyn in particular. However, I still wanted to test out if the Bloodthirster build is any good at all, and of course I want to make a video to share with you guys my findings. So let's get straight into the build explanation. So first up, of course, we're going to start with the Gluttonous Greaves, AD and Omnivamp Bloodthirster, huge amount of AD as well as more physical Vamp, and then of course we have Magnetic Blaster for attack speed as well as the range. Of course with Caitlyn's already high base range, this is going to be even better because you're going to outrange everybody and just get a free hit on them all the time. And then IE, just for more AD as well as boosting your own crit damage. And then you have Molar Reminder for the armor pen and the Grievous Wounds. And finally, to top it off, you go for a defensive item. Now, I love to go for Maw if there is a decent amount of AP on the enemy team because it gives you 55 AD, which is really huge and gives you a lot of magic resist, encountering the mages as well. But of course, you do have a lot of other options. Like if you want something more offensive, you can of course go for something like a Runaan's Hurricane. Something more defensive, you of course have things like GA or Sterex. You can even go for something like Bork if the enemy team is super duper tanky. That's an option as well. For the runes, of course, you're always going to go for Lethal Tempo for the additional attack speed as well as the additional attack range. And then you're Brutal because you auto attack a ton. And then you have Giant Slayer just to counter the tanks, as well as Alacrity for more attack speed, and finally Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities. Now for the spells, you want to go for Flash, together with, normally you're going to go for either Ghost or Cleanse. Now Cleanse, obviously you want to take it into teams with a ton of CC. If they don't, you normally want to go for Ghost, because this will allow you to kite around fights, especially in the mid to late game. Is going to come in very handy. Of course, if you're against a lot of Assassins or whatnot, you could also go for Exhaust and or Barrier, if that's your preference as well. But without further ado, let's hop into our gameplay. Alright, let's take a look at our gameplay itself. So let's just get straight into it. Do I think that the Bloodthirster build is better than the Stormrazor build? Well, as I kind of said in the build section of the video, no, I do think the Stormrazor build is the best build for Caitlyn. And the main reason for that is it is of course cheaper, and it gives her an early game spike, right? With that additional damage you get from the Stormrazor passive, as well as the slow and the speed up to yourself. It is very, very handy, right? Simply because Caitlyn is a champion who's really strong in the early game and in the late game, and she does kind of suffer a little bit in the mid game. So ideally, with Caitlyn, what you want to try to attempt to do is to get a hit in the early game with a couple of kills, and then snowball off of that. And Stormrazor is the best item to help you do that. Whereas Bloodthirster is kind of in a different spot, where Bloodthirster I think is still an amazing item, and it's technically the more consistent option. I say it's more consistent because assuming you buy Stormrazor and you don't get a hit, compared to you buy Bloodthirster and you don't get a hit, I actually think Bloodthirster is better because Bloodthirster overall gives you more AD, it gives you more utility with your lifesteal. I mean, the slow and the speed up also gives you a lot of utility, but I prefer the Vamp personally. So I feel personally that if you're in a neutral state, like when you get to mid game, you're 0-0 and 0, I'd much rather have a Bloodthirster than a Stormrazor. So really, it's kind of in a way situational, but in reality, it is situational, but it's kind of something you don't really have too much of a choice on. And the reason I say that is because you kind of have to commit very early on whether you're going for a Stormrazor or a Bloodthirster, because they don't build off of the same items, right? So unless you're gonna go for a Cloak start, which is horrible, you want to go for either the Vamp Scepter if you're going for Bloodthirster, or you want to go for the Noon Quiver if you're going for Stormrazor. You don't want to be building a crit cloak and kind of thinking about what you want, right? That's not going to be very good whatsoever. So with that in mind, you have to make the decision very early, and if you don't make the correct decision, I mean, honestly, it's fine, right? Both are kind of okay items, or great items for Caitlyn. Right, but of course both items have their own more optimal kind of situation. So you have to commit to one early, and really, when you make the decision, there's kind of no going back. So most people will choose to go for Stormrazor simply because you do generally expect yourself to get a hit, and things like that. So that's generally the best way to go about things. So in this particular match, we are against a Soraka, right? And as such, we are going to have to go for Executioner's Calling Rush to cut the healing, because otherwise there's no way you can handle the Soraka healing in lane. Um, and actually, I think this Bloodthirster build is actually halfway decent, in the current day and age of playing Wild Rift. And the reason why I say that is because, as I mentioned, with the Stormrazor build, ideally you want to actually get ahead in lane. And I feel personally that Caitlyn now is not really in the best of spots. I mean, if you guys saw on my tier list, I did rank Caitlyn pretty low in my tier list. And then one of the main reasons why I rank Caitlyn really low is because I feel her early game is not dominant enough, right? Caitlyn is the kind of champion that you have to really get ahead in the early game to really make an impact later on. Right, and you can see that Caitlyn's auto attacks just tickle, right? It's really difficult to get a kill, especially if the enemy team don't make any kind of mistake. Very, very difficult for you to really get anything done. So, yeah, I just don't think Caitlyn is really in the best of spots at the moment, which is kind of why I did rank her a little bit lower than what I normally would. I actually normally rank her pretty high, but I really don't think she's all that good. I mean, she's still a decent champion, as Xayah makes a mistake and, yeah, just dies here. And you can see that I played that very smartly, right? Because I'm really low, and she is as well. But the key advantage I have against her is, number one, I have my support with me, and whereas Soraka had to have had to have backed, right? And number two, I have my long range ultimate. So I just need to get her low enough that I can ult her, get out of her range, and then ult her from safety, which is exactly what I did. By the time she had realized it was too late and she ends up dying. That is a very common mistake to make against Caitlyn, which is fighting her till you're very low, and then only to realize that she has ult and she can simply ult you down. If there's no one else around to block for you, like what happened to the Xayah, you are simply just dead, right? This is one of the most common ways Caitlyn gets kills. So Xayah falls for the proverbial trap, and now we do actually get a little bit of an advantage. You can see we're now running her down. A huge Executioner's Calling value here, cutting all of that healing that Soraka is trying to give her. And yeah, we're simply now just taking over the lane. So of course, like in a game like this is probably where maybe Stormrazor could be a bit more appropriate, especially if we get another kill. So here, just blasting and blasting, we get a little bit rooted by Soraka as well as Xayah here. So here we actually have to both cleanse and flash out, especially because Galio came in for the gank, and we barely survive, at least for now. Nope, we get ignited by Galio and we actually die to the ignite, which is one of the saddest ways to die, right? They can't actually even reach you and they just ignite you under tower and you just die. It is what it is. So now we're actually 1-1. Now good news is that Xayah of course did not get the kill. Bad news is that we're losing all of the minions under tower. And Xayah is kind of getting a lead on us at this point. The objectives have spawned. Lee Sin is doing the Herald by himself. Yone is actually coming down here to gank the Xayah and Soraka. Galio is in hot pursuit. I'm trying to make my way over to the fight, but Pantheon is now here as well. He is 1v4 at the moment. Tries to run away, gets stunned up by Pantheon, and I'm trying my best to kind of help him out a little bit. Milio is healing him as well, uses the ult as well to save his life. He remains alive. I'm attacking now the Galio and the Pantheon over the wall because they can't reach me and they're melee, whereas I'm using my range to kind of just get free damage onto them. Pantheon is almost dead. He's 1 HP now, and he does end up going down eventually. Enemy team has just lost their jungler, so they cannot really do the dragon here. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and do the dragon. Now, the issue is that Yone and Lee Sin are both really low. I have no idea why Yone walked up to that bush. That was super duper dangerous. Like, I thought someone was in there, but they weren't. And here Xayah and Soraka are trying to contest the dragon. Lee Sin secures it, but Yone and Lee Sin are in a little bit of trouble. They all kind of exit the pit. Lee Sin comes in, cleans up the kill onto the Xayah. Now Soraka is getting run down by myself. Pantheon ult is coming in, and I'm not gonna commit to display. Flash comes out from Milio to escape from the Pantheon. And I'm able to escape scot-free as well without, having. I mean, I didn't even have flash, but without having to cop a death there, I am able to escape the Pantheon. So here now we back at this point. We're gonna start building towards our Bloodthirster. You can see that here we are kind of ahead. Like we could go for a Stormrazor here. We are kind of ahead, but we're not really that obscenely ahead, right? If you take a look at our goal, Galio has more gold than us. We have comparable goal to Garen and Pantheon. Lee Sin has the most gold in the game, and we do have a 1k lead over the Xayah though, and that's really our only like lead against the enemy team because we killed her. I mean, we didn't. I mean, we did kill her once, but she has died 4 times altogether, and not from us all of the time. So really, she's more of behind more so than I'm ahead. So I decided to actually go for the more consistent Bloodthirster build in this match. Now here I'm trying to get some plates, and of course what you want to do with Caitlyn always is you want to put down these traps to kind of limit the places that enemies can go. Nice kick from Milio to disengage. Pantheon Spear hits absolutely nothing. Lee Sin now coming in, we're getting some free damage, kicks Pantheon right to me for Pantheon to stun, not the most ideal. Pantheon gets taken out by Lee Sin. Soraka now on the run. She is alone because Xayah is in mid lane. Lee Sin attempts to go in. Soraka has nowhere to run. The trap is blocking her pathway. Galio now comes in. Poor trap placement by me because Galio should have gotten trapped there because his landing spot was fixed. And now we're just going to clear up the wave here. Now Xayah is free hitting our mid lane tier 2. I'm not sure how that one happened. I mean, Yone is dead, so that's the most logical explanation. Lee Sin is now going to run some interference, probably murder the Xayah most likely. And here, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I think I must be quite close to getting Bloodthirster, which is why I'm not actually backing. I'm trying to get that last little bit of gold, putting some traps under my tower. This is going to make it harder to dive me. Galio takes a trap to the face. Milio is now here to help me out. And I'm able to get some free hits onto them. But obviously we can't really... I mean, we could chase them, but I think there's no point trying to run them all the way down their lane. So instead, I'm going to go back to pick up this wave again and, of course, get one step closer to my Bloodthirster. Now, considering how long I've stayed out on the map, this should be enough to pick up the Bloodthirster. There we go. Finally, we do get a Bloodthirster, and we get an extra dagger as well. You can see I was trying to recall there, but you know, things just kept happening, and we even get the Kirkai shard. So a lot of gold was in our pocket that we finally am able to back and spend it. Now, no one is catching the mid wave, so we're gonna immediately get over to mid and catch this mid wave, so the gold is not wasted. And then we're gonna head over to help our team. We're in a little bit of an awkward spot here because Pantheon is kind of close to us. We don't really want to get engaged on by him, so we're going to trap away, and we're not just going to hit whoever's the closest target. Ideally, we want to hit Soraka. Soraka is always the most important target to focus in a team fight, but she's able to flash to safety. Yone with some very questionable plays once again. Flashes forward and gets nothing much really done. Xayah is now on a quest to just split push and get tower. She's done so, tried to do so in mid. She's doing so in bot. And yeah, she is getting that objective bounty. Singe is now headed over to stop her. Soraka is alone for now, so you can see here, we're taking her out. Unfortunately, that ulti left her on 1 HP. I cannot believe that she survived there. I thought she was dead there, but Galio is the next victim, taking a ton of damage, ton of free damage. And here, I'm getting a little bit caught out. I do use the Unstoppable to escape from the Galio. He nearly one-shots me. Pantheon stuns the Milio instead of myself. Milio flashes away. I'm going to flash away as well because I'm afraid of the Pantheon Spear. Huge disengage kick by Milio to prevent Pantheon from throwing his spear, saving both of our lives for sure. Now, we're not going to play with fire. We're going to just back and just restore all of our health and mana. Now, Garen is on the split push. Yone is going to stop him, and we're going to head over to the dragon where a fight has already broken out, or semi-broken out, I guess you could say. Enemy team is doing the dragon. Lee Sin now headed into the pit a little bit early, but does get the steal eventually. Pantheon has his shield not in the most optimal direction. Galio ult gets cancelled, and now we're just blasting whoever is the closest target. We get the Xayah, we kill the Xayah, and then we're going on to Pantheon. Pantheon goes down as well. Now Soraka doesn't really have anywhere to run. We're slowly but surely taking her out, and Lee Sin eventually is able to pick up the kill. So pretty nice fight from us there. Pretty much just playing front to back, which is really the only way Caitlyn can play is front to back. And we are eventually able to take out all of the enemy champions one by one. And now we find ourselves with a decent lead. Of course, Lee Sin is the most fed in the game. He's like 4k gold ahead of me and anyone else in the game with 9 kills and only 1 death. Galio is really fed as well, about the same goal as me. 2 full completed items on him. And you can see he nearly one-shot me just now with his full combo. Just one more like auto attack or so would have done the trick, but fortunately he was not able to get to me. And here now we've picked up the blaster Blaster, of course, is going to come in very, very handy, and we're just going to clean up this wave. Now, my team is overall in a pretty dominant position. I mean, Lee Sin has such a huge lead. I have a decent lead as well. I mean, I'm only 1k gold up on the 0 and 7 Xayah, so really my lead is not even that great, right? The Xayah literally died 7 times, and I'm only 1k gold ahead of her, so yeah, I'm not even having that big of a lead. Here, a fight is breaking out. We're making our way there, so Lee Sin can go back in here. Milio gives me the extra range, and now we're just blasting Soraka and Xayah. Xayah does end up going down to my ulti, and I pick up a double kill there. So in the meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, the enemy team attempted to start Baron, but the reason why we can make this play when Baron is up is because Galio, Garen, and Pantheon cannot really take Baron by themselves. They don't have any DPS, so here we make our way over to the Baron pit. Galio goes down, we pick up another kill, Milio kills Pantheon, and finally I pick up the kill onto Garen. Kind of an unofficial quadra kill if you really think about it. And now with all of the enemies dead, it's going to be a free Baron for us. Of course, Soraka and Xayah are spawning, but who really cares about them? Not much they can really do about this situation. Yone is 1 HP, but on the hunt for something. Comes back to his ghost, and then we're able to pick up the Baron. Now just clearing this mid lane before we back, just to get a little bit of mid lane parity. However, I'm getting a little bit caught out by Xayah here. Fortunately, she's not able to get any kind of root or anything on me. She doesn't have Stormrazor for the root combo. And yeah, she just pushes in the lane, but I'm just able to pick up all the minions and then quickly get a reset. Picking up both my IE components, really close to IE at this point. And for some reason, my Yone and Singed are getting into a fight with the whole enemy team when myself, Lee Sin, and Milio are not quite there yet. Me and Lee Sin, the two most fed members of our team, are now making our way to the fight. The enemy team is running away as they should. And here, looks like we're going to force a fight here. Hopping the wall here. I'm just blasting. Look at all these 1 HP targets. Yeah, Xayah goes down again. Pantheon goes on top of me, but he can't really one-shot me. I'm able to kill him. And yeah, we're able to kill all of them one by one at this point. And only Garen is left. He's on the split push. And I believe we can probably end the game here. The enemy team surrenders, so we do end up picking up the dub. So I'm going to be leaving you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.